talk about the rest of the season without spoilers. And Chris Gore said that, which I respect his opinion because he's very like on the line with everything. You know, it's like, is it good? Is it not? Like he said Wicked was good. You know what I mean? Like
I can tell you, as someone that watched it, Wicked was actually good. So
and what I'm saying is,
yeah.
Chris said he did not like Andor season 1. But he watched the whole thing, and now he, because he's a movie critic, has gotten the opportunity to watch all of season 2. And he said that after episode 3, it's the same thing with season 1. It gets better and better and better and better. After episode 3, it's really good. And he said, as somebody who did not like season 1, I went back and watched season 1 again, and now I love the whole show. So,
do you
take for that?
Believe him though?
I do believe him because Chris has pretty good opinions on stuff. I've watched a lot of film threat videos over the years, and he's got some really solid opinions on movies. And
so then,
not like he's not political at all. He doesn't do any of that shit. He's just very like movie.
So then, do you think that Tony Gilroy was just going through the motion for the first 2 episodes then?
Well, I think that the wedding shit really dragged on, and I think that was the point of it. But there was the scene specifically when the bride-to-be and the groom-to-be were both just spinning in a circle, and it was like a minute and a half long of them just walking in a circle, and I was like, what the fuck is this time padding? Because you're literally just padding out time. I'm like, how long am I sitting here watching you fucking walk in a circle? And I also thought that, like, is it kind of funny to have the people, the dumbass rebels that are trapped on Yavin 4 look retarded? Yeah, like, it's kind of funny. But, like, the rock, paper, scissors shit.
Dude.
I
roll my eyes.
There's things that I have problems with in the first 2 episodes. Like, the cereal scenes. Yeah. Why is he still working at that bureau? He hated it. He was only using it to get information on Andor.
Yeah, no, wait. Why? That's actually a good point. Why is he still there?
So he's still there, but he just has a promotion. So the way I see it is that he's like, I'll be the bureaucrat, honey, and you'll be the ISB agent. And like it's like a banker dating a cop. Like that's kind of how it feels to me. Or like a lawyer or a judge dating a cop. Like that's kind of how I see it. And I'm like, ooh. Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Good on them.
That's amazing. But anyway, like that's how I feel about their relationship right now. It's like he's like on the bureaucratic level and she's on like the government level.
Also, did you notice this? The humor feels extremely forced. It feels very like Marvel-y.
It got really soap opera-y. But I did like the fact that Deirdre was like, no, that's my man, fuck you. To like the mom. Because she's such a cunt, dude. Like she
honestly is.
She is. Like and it's just she's so fucking terrible as a mother. But then you get that like and I'm like, great. And I wish that it showed Cyril behind the wall just like, that's my girl, like she's got my back. But instead he's like on the bed like a little bitch. Like all curled up. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is the guy that ran into an explosion to save your life in the last season. And like, now his 2 moms are fighting and now he's like a bitch. Because you know what? I do find it very interesting, right? It's almost like a Game of Thrones aspect to a character where they have an attraction to somebody that's like their mother.
Yeah.
And like Deirdre has now come in to do
I didn't even pick that up, bro. I didn't even notice that until you said that.
And I found
I was
it
like,
very interesting that she is like his new motherly figure, but she's younger and
yeah,
some sexual pleasure as well, clearly, because she said turn off the lights in the one scene.
yeah,
But they went and fucked. So it's
yeah.
like it's kind of clear, and like I find that interesting. But the fact that like the two of them being a little bit confrontational made him like curl up in a ball on the bed because he couldn't do it in front. Like, I
Here's
find the
my big
idea of
takeaway so
because
far.
here's the thing, like if it was like Jamie Lannister with his sister, like Jamie would still fuck shit up.
Oh yeah,
And like that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm like Cyril should still be able to like be an adult. And like I understand him being afraid of his mother for a minute, but then he should stand up to her. But
yeah.
instead they didn't allow him to stand up to her. They made him a bitch.
So
So,
here's my biggest takeaway, and tell me if you disagree with me. Is it me or does Cassian feel kind of off? Like he's not the same. You know, you know what I'm saying? It feels
well,
like he's written slightly like differently. Like he's not Cassian. It feels
well,
like
he didn't have anything to do. He was
yeah,
fucking chained up for like, and he's definitely should be written differently. Like in the first scene, which is weird because they just zoom in on the fat black chick's butt. Like in the first scene of the show, they're like, "Look at that fat ass." Like I swear, it's weird. Watch it. Strange. And then Cassian's like, "We need to do this. It's for the fight." And she's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Yeah." And then like he just walks in, shoots a droid. No one's there. It's kind of weird.
it
Uh,
just feels like Cassian's written in
so
an
hold on,
off way.
chalk that up to the fact that there's no, like it's nighttime. Maybe it's in between a shift change. Like that's when he's gonna go and steal this tie. And Matt Rissman, if you're still here, drop that name of that tie again.
Yes, please do.
Tie Ultimate, tie something like that. But the fact that he's trying to fly it and it's still attached, and the first thing the stormtroopers do is start shooting. It's a little weird to me because I feel like the stormtroopers would be like, "Holy fuck, that pilot needs help! Like he doesn't know how to fly this thing." Like you know what? Like why do they just automatically assume he's trying to steal it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And even if they do start firing, why don't you show a trooper turn around the corner and be like, "Command, this is going down in this hangar," like that type of thing. Show that they're not retards. Show them competently. And they start firing. Then you have the guy that shoots the missile and completely fucking misses. And Cassian like finally locks onto him, and it takes him forever to do like the video game reload. He's got to do the Halo Reach,
yeah.
like like it takes forever. So it's like
I'll say it was
plot
like
armor
cool
for
to
sure.
like I'll say, and I know y'all are gonna call me a shill, but I found it to be pretty cool when we found out that like in episode 2, the planet that they were on was Yavin 4. I don't know why. I just thought that that was cool, but like that.
Yeah, I kind of figured it was going to be Yavin from the beginning
Yeah,
because that was where he was supposed to meet them, and it was a jungle world. And there was
yeah.
a group of
I
retards
just
there. Like when he flew away, I was like, of course it was Yavin.
yeah. I couldn't glean much like enjoyment out of the first 2 episodes, and
Well,
like
because the wedding shit is so dragged on, but it also somehow makes Perrin actually look like a better husband than he did in season 1. Like it looks like he's really nice to Mon now.
yeah, he
In a lot
was
of
like
scenes, a lot of scenes, he's very cordial and not like combative the way that he was, where he was kind of
yeah,
like he would always have a jab. He was very passive aggressive, and he's not passive aggressive in a lot of these scenes, which is kind of weird for his character. But like moving forward, like eventually to episode 3, like I liked a lot of the Mon Mothma stuff because I like that subterfuge. I really specifically still like Luthen, and I love how Luthen has a conversation with Mon in episode 3, and he says like something like basically saying that we're gonna have to kill Tay, and she goes, "I
Yeah.
don't know what you mean," and he goes, "Well, how lucky you are." Because she doesn't understand that, like, yeah, like she does, she understands it, but she doesn't. And then she starts to drink, and she drinks more and more and more, and starts to dance during the wedding because she's trying to get herself drunk because of what she knows she's doing on both ends. Not only is she marrying her daughter away, but she's also drinking because she knows that her childhood friend, who has now gotten fucked over entirely because of him trying to help her and help the rebellion, is now going to get killed because he's a liability.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, to me, like that's some good shit.
Episode 3, like, instantly flipped the problems I think that the first 2 episodes had. I feel like.
Those 2 episodes, so fucking mid, dude. It's
Yeah.
so bullshit. It's very weirdly paced. It's very.
It feels like it's made by different people. It feels
I
like it's
mean,
made by like
this is
different
what
people.
we did. We watched the last episode of season 1. We watched the last episode of season 1 and then went right into season 2 and watched the 3 episodes. We did 4 episodes.
Okay.
Strange.
Yeah, but episode 3 was it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I hope that
Is it bad
you
that I really like the music that they played at the wedding? That was like the dance music. I was like,
no,
it's
no,
like
I
some
mean
fun
that,
shit. It didn't sound like Star Wars music, but I really did enjoy it.
well, I think
They were like,
Star Wars music
like I was like, okay, let's go.
ever since John Williams hung up the, conductor thing, I think that the music in Star Wars just has not been the same. But
No, it never will be.
are we gonna talk about it, Roland?
I suppose we should.
What happened to Bix is crazy.
No, what happened
But
to Six is tame compared to anything else. I
a
will
lot
let
of
you
people are mad about this though.
give me your complete take on the quote unquote rape scene from Andor, because I have an article
Well,
about this too. So give me your take on the quote unquote rape scene in Andor.
I mean, the thing is that like you you might disagree, but like okay, I don't know if I don't know how to say this without coming off like without coming off like a terrible person. I don't know if that's necessarily rape. Like what happened is terrible, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I was in shock. Okay, I'll just say that much. I was I was like I was thinking to myself, what am I watching? One, and then two, I just because I like Bix, I I was like, this is you know
Disturbing.
yeah.
That's how I felt. So I was watching the scene, and I was like, oh yeah, like this is disturbing. And I remember as I'm watching it, right, because I had already had a leak. Matt knows exactly why. We're in the same group chat, but I had already known that there was going to be a scene that was rapey, and I had this like feeling right as I'm watching this. I looked at my mom and I go, "This is going to be a problem on Twitter," and she goes, "Why?" She's like, I was like, I'll talk to you after this is over. And like, we're watching it. And it happened, whatever. And she goes, that was probably the most tame rape scene I've ever seen. I've watched The Handmaid's Tale. And she's like, and I've watched Game of Thrones with you. And I'm like, exactly. Like, that wasn't even anything.
Honestly,
But
honestly, yeah.
I knew it was going to be, if Biggs had gotten her pants torn, or had her shirt torn, and we saw her tits, like, then yeah, it would be crazy for Star Wars to do that. That would be insane. And I agree with that. I do see where people are coming from, and I know that I'm probably in the minority, and I'm not really defending this. What I'm saying is this happens in the Star Wars universe.
How often though?
That's the first thing
A
I
lot.
thought. That's the very first thing that I thought of when I was watching this episode. So nobody say that I got all this shit from somebody else talking about it, because I know someone's going to try to say it. I know a lot of people have brought up these points. But my points being is the first one of all things, Anakin's mom.
Yeah, that did
What
happen to Shmi,
happened
didn't it?
to Anakin's mom? Shmi got raped by the Sand People. It's very clear. She's tied up by it's fucked up, but it's very clear that that's what happened. And there's more context to that in the novel. That's not the only time that these terrible things have happened. And I understand there is a difference between it happening in a novel and it happening in a movie or a show. But this did not actually happen. Nothing actually happened. What happened in this scene, which when I heard that there was going to be a rape scene, I thought it was going to be legitimately a rape scene. I didn't think it was going to be what this is, which is, I think, a big nothing burger, because you could theoretically, this show is TV 14. A 14-year-old could watch this and understand the context, and you wouldn't have to explain the word to them. And
You can't deny that it is disturbing to watch, though.
Well, that's the point, and I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
But the other thing with that is that the fact that if he had walked in and told her, hey, I know you're illegal, which, by the way, if it wasn't for this scene, everybody would be talking about the fact that they're talking about visas and being illegal. That would be the other topic of conversation, which I'm surprised it's not, to be honest with you. Because that was a very clear allegory to the United States. But anyway, if he had walked in and unzipped his pants after saying that she was illegal and he knew that, and then walked up to her, because people are saying, well, they show Anakin killing kids, but it's off screen. Okay, well, if this was off screen, this would be a lot worse, which would be if he walked in, unzipped his pants, she said, please no, and then he put her up against the wall like he did, and then it cuts to a different scene, and then comes back and he's walking out of the building, zipping up his pants, and she's lying on the ground, like crying. That's way fucking worse, showing it off screen. Because that was the argument of a lot of people. And I think even Star Wars Theory was like, well, they showed stuff off screen. I'm like, yeah, but dude, like that. And he realized that. He had a good conversation with Ryan Kennel, who also brought that up. But showing things off screen is sometimes worse because you imagine it in your head what it is. Like I imagine Anakin slicing the kids apart, as opposed to in the movie. If they had shown it, it would have just been him like stabbing and a quick hit, like he did with the everybody in Mustafar scene. But like you imagine it way worse. So if you showed that off screen, it would be way worse. Instead, there's not even any penetration. Like she literally like gets pushed up against the wall after saying please no, and then hits him He falls over. She gets hit. She gets knocked over. He starts dragging her towards the bed by her leg, which again is like, this is unsettling. It's not a good scene. Like it's not like it is. It's not like a badass scene. I mean, it is, but it's also unsettling, and that's the point because the Imperial Lieutenant can just do this. And to imagine that the space Nazis wouldn't do this type of thing ever is kind of childish to me because nothing ever actually happens because as he's dragging her, she grabs a wrench, smacks him over the side of the head. He falls over, he gets up, she smacks him again. He walks
Yeah.
outside and falls over. And then the guy who's driving is like, "Yo, what happened? Come out with your hands up." And she's like, "He tried to rape me," is what she says. And that to me is where the problem is because that puts it too far on the head.
Mm.
That's too precise on the head. In reality, it should be just he tried to attack me, he tried to assault me, like something like that. That would be way better. It's that line that makes that scene a problem. You know what I mean? Because then that's a word you might have to explain to a kid. Because otherwise, not that many kids are watching Andor because it's very complex. And I understand that. Like, there's like a lot of like slow scenes and slow writing and slow. Yes, it's very slow. And a
Yeah.
lot of kids aren't going to be into that when they can go and watch The Acolyte and then bitch about it on Twitter. But Muffler Tape, I really do think you should watch it. And I'll tell you, you know what? Let me watch the next 3 episodes next week, and I'll tell you how good it is. Because Chris Gore, and I trust his opinion, said that the show gets really good, and he didn't like season 1. So if he likes season 2, and that made him really like season 1 after watching season 2, and he's like, and you can watch Rogue One right after, which I did, and I enjoyed it, then okay. But I want to give you guys, and I've seen the tweets from some of our friends, like King's Advisors was not happy about this. She gets out of it. Brasso dies, and I was fucking pissed because I actually really like Brasso as a character.
To be clear, just so that everyone knows, you're not like, defending this. You're just saying that this is not common, but this has happened in
No,
like the Star Wars
so
universe
so
before.
so here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a couple other instances where this has happened in the Star Wars universe, other than Anakin's mom, Leia and Jabba. So in the Return of the Jedi novelization, which was written in 1983, right after the
Yep.
movie came out, in the novelization, Jabba doesn't just go, "Oh boy, choga, hunga, wangi, tongi, choga." And he goes, "We will see." She goes, "I have very powerful friends, Jabba." And basically, he's like, "No, I'm fine with that. And I'm just going to have as much fun with you as I possibly can before they show up." Because I believe you. I believe you, but I'm going to enjoy you as much as I can before they come back. And he puts Leia in that metal bikini because, oh, and by the way, when he goes to kiss her and C-3PO says, "Oh no," in the movie, I can't watch. Yeah, he goes to like not just lick her. In the book, he legitimately like kisses her.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
And
Ew.
and that's the novelization that comes from the original script. That's just why the screen cuts to C-3PO saying that. Because it still
Does he
happens.
actually kiss her though? Does he
Yes.
actually? Oh.
And
Oh.
and Jabba the Hutt has a fetish for human females. So that's why he
Bro.
sleeps doesn't fuck her, but sleeps with Leia, and he makes her wear that bikini because he doesn't want to taste the sand on her because he likes to lick her. And it's implied heavily that the
I'm
night
sorry,
that
that's
Luke,
not funny, but
it's implied heavily that the time that Luke shows up, that day, she was about to be passed around to everybody in Jabba's palace.
seriously?
Yes. In that novelization.
That's crazy. I got to get my hands on the Return of the Jedi book because I've never actually read it.
There's also the story of Sentis Vel, who was Boba Fett's wife. Boba Fett's wife got raped by an Imperial officer. And
What?
Boba Fett killed that officer. And then it caused a major problem for him and his wife.
So,
So like this,
so,
and that's not
so
even
to be
talking about
clear,
like that's not even talking about the sex that happens, like Darth Talon trying to fuck Cade Skywalker in the Legacy of the Force, because
bro,
Cade Skywalker
I
was the nephew
I
of,
remember that.
or the great grandson or whatever of Luke Skywalker, and he kept trying to Luke's Force Ghost kept talking to him, and he got so annoyed by Luke's ghost that he started doing death sticks so that he couldn't concentrate, so that he couldn't talk to Luke. He got high so that he couldn't concentrate. It's like those books are wild. But Darth Talon rolls up, red fucking Twi'lek, all tatted up, top to bottom, huge tits, nice ass, wearing a bikini, and she's like, "Yo, join the dark side."
I'd hit.
And
No shame.
I don't know if I should do that. Dude, like all this stuff fucking happens in Star Wars. Like this is tame. And I understand that it's in live action, but I think this is all a nothing burger. I think it's all being blown out of the water. And
Well,
I think that after
this
the
is
next
tame
couple,
compared to Game of Thrones, even. This is
well, yeah,
tame
dude, if it was the
compared to Game
same
of Thrones.
scene as Theon watching Sansa get raped on her wedding
Yeah,
night, like then that
yeah,
would be different. But this is not
yeah.
that. This we would be having a completely different conversation right now if that was happening. But this is a fight scene. This is a fight scene that starts with some weird ass sexual tension. That's what this is. It's not that bad. And for the people that say Andor's in Star Wars, sure, whatever. But keep in mind that this is now coming out from the same company that changed the name of Slave One to the Fire Spray.
That's just such
Because
a
the
stupid
Slave
name.
One was bad. And you know what? All the fans were out here defending it, going, "Yo, you can't change the name of Slave One. That doesn't make sense. There's slaves in Star Wars. Star Wars is a fucked up galaxy." But now those same people are all upset because rape happens in the Star Wars galaxy. So it's like, it's ridiculous. Nothing actually happened. Nothing. She just got hit against the wall and punched.
So,
Maybe.
you know what?
And she
You know what
escaped.
this is making me
She's
realize,
fine. She
Roland?
didn't get raped. But guess what? This is a show that's about not the Empire as a whole, like the movies are. This is a show that is about the Empire affecting individual human beings. And that's what this is showing. How the Empire is affecting individual human beings and also the growth of a rebellion.
You know what? This is kind of what this has made me realize. Not all, but a section of Star Wars fans literally looked to complain about everything, no matter what. Just like there are just some people that you will like never be able to please them ever. So I don't know why we give them time, genuinely, because like why do we even entertain it? You know what I mean? It's
Because
like
honestly, we should entertain everybody's opinions. I think. I whether or not I think all those opinions are valid, that's up to me to decide. But opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So
I guess. I
Like,
guess.
I think that's what fandom is, though, man. It's like when you're in a
That's
comic
true.
book shop and you're talking to somebody and you go, "Well, Darth Vader could totally, kick fucking Batman's ass," and someone would be like,
Yeah.
"Not a Batman, it's prep time," and like, like it's like those arguments. It's like Master Chief versus Batman, like Master Chief wins, and somebody would be like, "Oh, dude, I don't know about that one." Like you could
Yeah.
totally do Gandalf versus Dumbledore, like those conversations, like that type of thing is like real nerddom. Like that's the way that it is. But at the end of the day, I
Yeah.
think this whole fucking rape thing is blown out of proportion.
Well,
Nazis did that to people. This guy walks in there. He goes, "Hey, you're an undocumented immigrant. I know that for sure. I thought you were hot." Also, he looks at the other chick in there earlier, and honestly, he walks in. He says, "I think you're hot. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Let me fuck you." And she says, "No, please don't do this." And then he proceeds to force himself on her, and she knocks him the fuck. She punches him, and then she knocks him the fuck out after she gets hurt. So that's a fight.
yeah.
That's a fight scene. He doesn't actually do anything to her. He doesn't kiss her. He just pushes her up against the wall.
Yeah, like
Like it's sexually tension, and it is definitely tense because you know what his goals are. But like it's still just a fight scene, and she wins, and she fucking fucks him up.
yeah, honestly, now that you're saying this, to
It's
be
not that
honest with you,
bad, dude. It's literally so tame compared to the shit that's made me like sick to
the
my
thing is,
stomach that I've seen. And
people that have
there's
people that
things
have
in Game of
watched
Thrones that the first
Game
time
of
I watched,
Thrones
like that
are
scene,
mad at
where
this.
Theon has to watch Sansa get raped, has literally made me sick to my stomach the first time I watched it, dude. I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. And so like the thing is that if you've seen Game of Thrones but you can't handle this, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
but it doesn't belong in Star Wars. Well, you know what? If they're making like Star Wars kid shows, and then they're making like Star Wars like teen shows like Clone Wars and stuff, and
well,
then you have like the everybody shows like Ahsoka and stuff like that, then there should be an area for an adult Star Wars show.
hold on. Doesn't belong in Star Wars, bro. We just got the Acolyte. Nothing
Well,
is
that's
off
what I'm
limits now.
saying, bro. The
Nothing's off
Acolyte
limits now.
was full of sexual bullshit. Full.
Well, like it's not even that nothing's off limits now. Like just
No, it's like okay, all right. I heard a great point, and I believe it was Ryan Kennel who said this. RK Outpost. I could be wrong, but like if Andor came out, if we had three really good sequel trilogy movies plus Rogue One, and then we got Andor, and then we got Rogue One, that'd be great. And I agree. If we had gotten Andor as a show after a really good trilogy, like the fans were hyped, like the trilogy was fucking dope, and then the next thing that came out was Andor,
mhm.
and then we got the Rogue One movie, that would have been sick. Like the Star Wars fandom would have been killing it, dude. And then you dropped the Mandalorian season 1 after that. Like if we had a really solid trilogy that was just the trilogy, no spin-offs, no anything else, no Solo, no Rogue One yet. Like that's a good point. Like a
Yeah.
solid ass trilogy that had the fans like all joined together, like, yeah, this is fucking good. And then did the Andor and just kept Andor the same, and then went into Rogue One as a prequel. Like, yeah, that would be pretty fucking good. I think people would be happy with that. Kept Rogue One the same as well. I think
The
people would
thing
be happy
is,
with that.
the thing is, the problem that I think, and I know we're trailing kind of off of Andor, but like to your point, because I'm gonna be coming around to something.
No, I got
To
something
your
else. I
point,
got something else to say about Andor.
well, to your point, what they did was, and for anyone that's going to be upset about this reference or this, phrasing, they blew their load too early by putting out Mando first. And it's something actually that credit to my, credit to my credit to my brother, because he's going to school to be a writer. He says that
No,
you don't
keep in
write
mind,
your he
keep-
says that you don't write your masterpiece first.
it's not a
So
masterpiece, but also keep in mind, Roman, that they knew what they had with the Rise of Skywalker. They needed a quick, instant win, like a shotgun, right after that.
I understand that,
And that's
but
what they got with The Mandalorian. Because when we saw the trailer for The Mandalorian, I was at Star Wars Celebration when it dropped. I saw it in
yeah,
Chicago. I saw the cast. I was standing right next to Gina Carano and Pedro Pascal and Carl Weathers. But
yeah,
what I'm saying is that shit looked dope because Baby Yoda wasn't in the first trailer. Like he wasn't in it until the first episode came out in December.
right.
But
I get that.
hold on. That trailer was hype as fuck.
That's
Everybody was
true.
like, yo, this bounty hunter Mandalorian looks dope as shit. He's cutting people up in a door. He's murdering motherfuckers in a bar in the middle of a snow planet. It's not Tatooine, thank God. Like,
We
yeah,
get that later.
I know, but yeah, dude, it was hype. People were hyped for Mando.
Yeah.
We were also hyped for Rise of Skywalker, but Rise of Skywalker ended up fucking sucking more cock than anything else. I went into that just being like, you know what, maybe you can try to fix The Last Jedi. It didn't. Because at that point, there was even rumors that people were like, Luke Skywalker's actually alive. He just teleported. Like the people were fucking grasping at so many straws, dude.
Yeah. I mean, here's my thing. If they had put Andor out first, I think I get what you're
After a
saying
good
with them.
trilogy. After a good trilogy. It has to have like Star Wars
Yes.
has to have good merit with people. So let's say it was like the episode 9 that we saw, and like Jon Favreau was actually in the running to do the Star Wars trilogy, all 3 movies.
Honestly, at this point, if I could go back in time, I would have just went with his. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Like,
he's the one who brought back Iron. He's the one who made Iron Man a household name.
honestly, he has his flaws, but like, I'd just rather go with him. Honestly,
I mean, the episodes he directs of The Mandalorian are pretty well directed. I just think he's like forced to do certain things with the storytelling because of Disney.
well,
But
Mando's not Dave, right? That's not him. That's all like Jon Favreau.
I think it's mostly Dave now. I think John's just like there.
I thought John quit. I thought John walked.
No, he's doing the Mandalorian movie, and Dave's doing the Heir to the Empire movies, what they're calling it, but that's not what it is.
It's a husk.
I don't think they'll probably fucking call it that, but that's what all the fans are calling it.
But
which is like, bro, come on, dude, stop.
You know that is what they're gonna call it, right?
Stop.
That is what they're gonna call it. But
I don't want it. I'm like Jon Snow. I don't want it.
the thing is, bro, they haven't even properly adapted the Thrawn trilogy in order to get to the Heir to the Empire.
No, they can't. They can't. They literally need to give us more than just Ahsoka. The show needs to be called something else that's not just somebody's fucking name. So it doesn't revolve around one person.
You say that.
Yo, apparently they showed off Ahsoka shit at the Star Wars Celebration.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I've
I could
also
care
seen
less.
the Darth Maul trailer.
Really?
Yeah. Darth Talon's in it.
What?
Yeah.
Talon's in it?
Yeah.
What?
Which is from George Lucas's original scripts for
Why are they doing this to us?
the sequel trilogy. George Lucas's original scripts were Darth
They're
Maul. And,
messing with us, Roland.
yeah,
They're
I know. But now it's gonna be like attached to Solo probably.
so we're not getting Son of Dathomir? Uh
I think we are.
man.
I think we are getting Son of Dathomir too. But I think
What
Son of
you
Dathomir will be like the beginning of the show.
so what you saw in the trailer besides Talon, did you like what you saw?
Yeah,
Or
because it shows Rook Cast, who's like the female Mandalorian that works for Maul,
yeah.
like the Phoenix wings on her helmet kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it shows her breaking in and killing droids,
Okay.
and
Cool.
then yeah, it. So I'm pretty sure we're getting Son of Dathomir,
Man,
which would be nice.
don't
Because Son of Dathomir is actually just a cool comic. I know a lot of people are sick and tired of like Maul animated, whatever. But for like
bro,
my
after last week,
philosophy on
how
this.
could people be sick
No,
of
my
Maul?
philosophy of this is like people are like, oh my god, he should have. Like a lot of these people are the ones that are saying that he should have just stayed dead, and I agree with you, but he's not, and we have to accept that. And you know what? He's a fun character, so I just enjoy the stuff that comes out with him.
Maul carried Clone Wars and
Like
the parts of Rebels
that's
that
so
he was in.
fucking true because everybody's favorite arc, other than or favorite arcs, other than the shit with Hondo and the shit with Umbara.
The Mortis arc is also good too.
Mortis arc is okay.
Mm,
Watch it again, and it's really out there. It's really fucking out there. The droid
that's
arc fucking sucks. I'm talking about the one where, well, there's two of them that suck. But there's two of them, like they both have like one good episode. I'm talking about the one with C3PO and R2
yeah,
where they're underground and they end up
yeah.
like, that fucking arc blows.
But like the thing
And
is
then
though,
and then the same
the
thing.
stuff the stuff with Maul is fantastic.
Yeah,
Both in
the stuff with the bounty hunters is fantastic too. All the bounty hunter
yeah,
shit is really good.
yeah, but like Maul and then
And I
like
really do like the finale of I think it's season 4 where Ahsoka gets captured by the Trandoshans.
I think it's the end of season 4, yeah. But
Yeah,
like
and that's really
but
good.
like
All in the
the thing is
Mandalorian
too,
is amazing.
Rebels has its problems, but whenever Maul shows up, bro,
Yo,
I'm just like
season
on
2
the edge of my seat.
finale of Rebels is phenomenal.
You think so? Yeah, see, like
That
I'm not a
shit's
fan of
really
season 1.
good, dude. Season two's finale when Darth Maul fucking shows they're all there and Darth Vader fights Ahsoka. That's great.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. And then when Maul
And
dies, I'm like,
Ahsoka
really?
should have died there. Ahsoka should have died in Order 66, but Ahsoka definitely should have died there. I think that should have been her
Dave
death.
had
I
Dave
think
had plans for
that
her.
should have been her moment. I would say her Gandalf moment, but she quite literally comes back like Gandalf in the Ahsoka show. So she goes from
Did
wearing gray to white. It's
did
retarded.
did George consult on Rebels or has Star Wars been sold by that point?
No, stars are sold by that point.
Okay.
George consulted on Clone Wars and said that Ahsoka should die,
Mm.
and Dave Filoni didn't do it.
He wasn't like in charge of Clone Wars though, right? That wasn't his thing.
Kind of was like most things were ran past him.
Mm.
Apparently, Dave convinced him not to kill off Ahsoka.
And like the
That's
thing
what
is,
they
bro,
say, but I don't know if I believe it.
people say that they're sick of Maul. Ahsoka's in everything.
Yeah, so
No
good.
one's into her.
I'm actually I get going back. Like I liked her in Rebels, but now I do wish that she died during Order 66. I was thinking that when I was watching that movie today. When I was watching Revenge of the Sith today, I was like, damn, this is what Ahsoka's going through at this moment. And I was like, it would have been kind of crazy if she just died on that ship with her and Rex and everybody else. They all just died on that ship.
Yeah. But like the thing
Like
is,
that kind of would be cool if like her and Rex just died there. But
is that like people
I
are
don't
saying,
know.
oh,
Like if not, then
we're
okay,
sick
she
of them all.
died in Rebels, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, Ahsoka's still alive, bro. She's died like fucking 4 times.
Yeah.
That's retarded.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, she dies what? Twice in like her own show? She dies twice, right? Once or twice.
No,
She dies twice, right?
she dies once.
She dies once, right? Yeah. What are
But
the
she
other
also
three
dies
times?
in she also dies in Rebels.
Yeah, she dies
And
in
she also
Rebels.
dies in Clone Wars.
Okay, yeah, that's three.
And then there's something else she fucking dies.
Does she die in Tales of the Jedi? No. No, she doesn't. But like
Hold on, she dies
the
in Clone Wars.
the point that I'm making, Roland,
Dies in Rebels.
is that like, people are saying that they're sick of Maul, but I don't hear anyone like, bro, this is no longer Star Wars. This is like Ahsoka Wars featuring Star Wars characters. And like it's getting to the point that
No, bro,
like
it's just straight Filoni shit. This is Filoni Wars.
I don't get how people are like, well, this is, heir to the Empire. Ahsoka's not an heir to the Empire. I don't know as much about the EU as you do, but I know for a fact Ahsoka was nowhere even near heir. She's nowhere even near heir to the Empire. Nowhere near
She's
it
not even in the EU.
at all. She's not even in it.
No,
Like,
no, no.
yeah, yeah. So Dave is literally just retconning
There's
the
maybe a
EU.
couple comic books that she was probably in, or maybe a novel or two, like right before Disney bought Star Wars, but they were like simple like visual dictionaries and things like that.
So Dave's literally just retconning the entirety of the EU now.
Yeah, so they go to the EU just so that they could reuse everything from the EU.
So then is the EU canon or not? Like
Who
what
fucked
is the
dude?
consensus?
It fucked us so badly. Like who knows?
Why? For what purpose? Like they say that the EU's not canon and then they use stuff from the EU. It it doesn't make any sense. Like you're going to tell me, bro, I don't want them to touch Star Killer, but when that happens, they're gonna nerf him so hard, and I'm gonna be so mad about that.
Yeah, they can't use them. They literally can't. They're gonna somehow find a way to bring Cal Kestis in from the games. He's gonna be in it. You got Dominic Monaghan right there.
I like Cal, but he doesn't need to be in the
No,
main
he doesn't.
line.
He doesn't, but they're gonna find a way to bring him in. He's gonna be
Yeah,
like
but
somebody that's working with Luke. They should just recast Luke and not use the CGI like Skinwalker that
Marks.
you see.
Yeah.
Um, I think
Do you think that they're
the same thing with like
do
apparently Han and Leia are gonna be in that Mando trailer. Mando.
how? 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 How?
Who knows?
Carrie Fisher is quite literally dead. How are
Yes,
they gonna do that?
and Harrison Ford is quite literally old as fuck.
Okay, but they can still do stuff with his face. How
No,
are they gonna do Leia?
I think they're just gonna recast both of them.
What if they don't? Then what?
They'll probably do what they did with Tarkin and get people that are really close, looking with them, and then CGI over the face.
That's what they did with Mark, right? Because
Yeah,
that is
that's what they do with Mark and the other actor.
Mark in Mando, right? That's not just like
No, that's the other. That's the other actor.
in
Mark's not that skinny. He's
no,
a
but like
now.
I'm saying like Mark was there, right? Mark was there,
No,
like
they did the scene with both actors.
yeah, but they just it's creepy how they made him look so like young. That's like scary to me. The fact that he looked like
He looks
young
very
Luke.
clay.
It's
Like
what?
he looks very like he's made of clay. Like he doesn't
Well,
look.
well, yeah. I mean, you can tell that it's not real. But like the point that I'm making is, do you remember the end of Rogue One? That's what I'm worried is gonna happen to Leia and Han. They're just gonna get like one or two lines, and like they're literally gonna get like.
That's probably what's gonna happen.
But then they're also crucial to the heir of the Empire. So if you have Ghost Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, and then you have to
So
recast them.
it's gonna be the fucking Thanos tease from the end of like the Avengers, the first one.
Oh, the very first one. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
gonna be like that. It's gonna be like Anakin, Luke, Han, and Leia together.
I I hope that it's the Sebastian Stan Luke. I I really hope it's him, but it's not going to be him.
I don't know. He's kind of a little bit older now, but the guy who plays him as the stunt double is like pretty solid.
Well, how old's Luke in Heir to the Empire?